In this tutorial, I'll be recommending some books. I know that you probably already have your favorites. These are some of the books that I've found very helpful in my years of teaching. As artists, we're often in need of books for inspiration, for information that we learned earlier that we've forgotten, for new information. And we're fortunate that artists throughout history have written down their thoughts, their ideas, and their teaching methods that remind us of the importance of basic techniques and the fundamentals of art. After you learn the basics and fundamentals of art, then you can expand as an artist. In fact, these early years of training is where you learn how to grow as an artist and how to be creative. I'm not saying these are the best books or the only books, but these are some that have been helpful to me. This first book is called Drawing with Children, and it's by Mona Brooks. This has been a favorite of art teachers who teach young children. This book helps you learn kid speak. In other words, it teaches you how to talk to children about art. Some of the real basic concepts of art. This isn't advanced academic art speak, but it teaches teachers how to teach children about art. It's really been a favorite of mine anytime I'm working with children. This next book is by Betty Edwards, and it's called Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain. Betty Edwards is not only an artist, but she is an academic. She holds a PhD in art education and the psychology of perception. This book explains what science has discovered about the function of the left side and the right side of the brain. She describes the tasks that each side of the brain pursue and complete, which side of the brain controls visual activity, and which side of the brain controls data storage. It'll really help you grow and focus on your creative side. This next book is by Ted Kotsky. He was born in 1896 and died in 1953 at an early age of 56. His hometown was Budapest, Hungary. He attended the Royal University of Hungary and became an architect. When he was 27, he moved to the United States and began working as an architect for the New York City Parks Department. He was an outstanding draftsman and eventually became a sought-after teacher. Fortunately for us, he wrote this book and a few others, but this book covers the fundamentals of drawing, values, and edges, and I would recommend this book to beginners, intermediate, and advanced artists. This next book is by Edgar Payne, and it's called Composition of Outdoor Painting. Edgar Payne was born in Missouri in 1883, and he became one of America's great landscape painters. In 1917, he was commissioned by the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe Railroad to paint the Southwest for their advertising department. He really fell in love with the Southwest, especially the Four Corners region near Gallup, New Mexico. This area includes Canyon de Chelly, the Navajo Reservation, the Canyonlands, Zion National Park, and several other national parks. Edgar Payne became a well-known and successful artist who eventually wrote this book. This book is one of the favorite tools of any serious landscape artist, and I think it's a book you should own. It was written about 70 years ago, so it's a little hard to read, but the information is timeless. This next book is another important book that I believe all serious landscape artists should own. It's by John F. Carlson, and it's called Carlson's Guide to Landscape Painting. John Carlson was born in Sweden in 1875 and immigrated to America with his family when he was about 9 years old. He studied at the Art Student League in New York. He won many awards in his lifetime and was eventually elected to the National Academy of Design in 1925. The first copyright of this book was in 1929. This book is full of useful information and explains things in a way that's very easy to understand. This last book is by a living artist. His name is Richard Schmidt. Richard Schmidt is one of the great American painters of our time, and we're fortunate that he's shared his knowledge with us in this book. The book is entitled Alla, Prima, Everything I Know About Painting. This book is easy to read, easy to understand, and when you read it, you'll realize that it'll be one of the books that stands the test of time. As I said earlier, I'm not saying these are the best books or the only books, but they're similar in that they recognize the four major pillars that I believe are the architecture of good painting. These four major elements are drawing, values, edges, and color. So when you start your book collection, pick these up because they're valuable books. Thanks for watching.